leadership of this state, for individual churches, Baptist and Catholic, are cowards. The publishers and editors of the state papers are cowards. You don't have to clap. I want you to be angry, not clap. And the MLAs are cowards. From the beginning to the end, they are cowards. The corruption is not the point. The lack of courage is the point. I have 5 minutes, so I have been here 8 times. This is my 8th trip. It's my first trip in 4 years, and I've been interested in 3 issues: the Naga nationalist movement, the corruption, and women's rights. I was here in 2017, just after the riots that stopped the voting for women on urban local bodies. For those of you who care about that issue, you will notice that the election has never been held. Okay, so I'm going to hit just a couple of topics. It is the conclusions I can give only. The research I've done for years, the reading of your newspapers, the speaking to many people, the books I've read, are based on the conclusions I'm about to give you. They were the basis for it. First, the Naga nationalist movement. Kahuto is not responsible for anything I'm about to say. He has some idea about what I'm about to say, but he is not responsible. First, the Naga nationalist movement. I'm going to spend 30 seconds on it. It's dead. And it's been dead since August 14th, 1947. It's based on lies, exaggerations, and coercion. It's dead. Secondly, I want to address the leadership of this state. There are 3 main institutions of this state: the church, both Protestant and Catholic, Baptist and Catholic, the press, and the MLAs. Every individual in those bodies is a coward. The problem in this state is not corruption. I was involved in politics in New York State at the gubernatorial level. We had corruption there, but people who were corrupt there chose to be corrupt. People here are corrupt because they're cowards. The leadership of your church, the Baptist Church, the Nagaland Baptist Church Council, are made up of cowards. The individual leaders of your individual churches, Baptist and Catholic, are cowards. The publishers and editors of the state papers are cowards. You don't have to clap. I want you to be angry, not clap. And the MLAs are cowards. From the beginning to the end, they are cowards. Shut down the businesses of Nagaland, and specifically Doyapur a few years ago. Not one person in leadership, in the press, in the church, or the MLAs opened their mouth to point out that a bunch of corrupt murderers were making the law. All someone had to do was open their mouth and point out that the proper way to shut down the businesses on Sundays in Doyapur and elsewhere is for some MLA to introduce a bill, that it should be debated, that it should be passed, and then it is law. It's not the job of a bunch of corrupt murderers that you view as part of the nationalist movement to pass laws. No one had the courage to open their mouths. The leadership in the state does not have the courage it takes to represent the people of Nagaland. They have been cowards for decades. They have passed along that cowardice to their children. The corruption is not the point. The lack of courage is the point. I'm here because Kahuto and I got to know each other a number of years ago, and Kahuto has shown substantial courage in many, many ways. I last want to just talk about you folks, the Naga people, and I include here yourselves. The vast majority of people on this planet, and I have spent time elsewhere than in Nagaland, do not care about freedom. The reason they do not care about freedom is because the vast majority of human beings don't use their freedom. The vast majority of people do not get involved in politics, and they couldn't care less as long as they feel comfortable. It's only a small minority of people who try to take advantage of the freedom they have. That's true in America, it's true in Nagaland, and it's true everywhere else. There are 1.4 billion people in China, and the vast majority of people do not care that they are in a totalitarian government and must follow orders because the vast majority are comfortable the way things are working out. You are not courageous. You here sitting before me and the rest of the Nagas are not courageous. You have not expressed anger. Kahuto and no other leader is going to get you your freedom. Do you understand that? It's not just enough to hear speeches. It's not just enough for people like me to talk about it. It's enough only if you get angry and upset and understand enough about the fact that you are not free, even though you don't care very much. None of us cares very much until we want to do something that bothers those in power. And then you find that you're not free. They are simply corrupt murderers who've been using the nationalist movement for decades to extort money from the Naga people in the name of a nationalist movement. They will never make peace because if they made peace, they'd have to get a job, and they do not know how to work, not in a civil society. The only way they're going to disappear is if you surround them, tell them to put their guns down. That's the only way. So I wish you the courage to get angry enough to be willing to die for your state and for the freedom that you do not have now. I know it's easy for me to say because on March 4th I get on a plane and I go home. I'm with you though, and I've written articles indicating that any time any of you are willing to confront them, I will fly back as quickly as possible and stand with you. I wish you the courage to follow through on this. Kahuto, whether he gets elected or not, will not be able to do it without the people of Nagaland, not just Doyapur 3. People have to understand that they're not free. People have to understand that even though life goes on and they're comfortable, they should not be. Not if they really want to be free. That's enough. Thank you. Thank you.